Different ball game, isn't it, at this stage of a campaign, Ray?
Yeah, but when you look through, there's different situations with the teams that are playing. Some are trying to win a league, some are trying to get into the Champions League positions, some are trying to stave off relegation. Others, mid-table, mediocrity, they can't go up, can't go down, but they're playing for their futures. Because the manager and the owners of the club will be looking, saying, right, who can we rely on for next season? If we want to improve, who's the players that are going to get us to a situation where we're going to get better? What do we need to do to let players go and to bring in the right ones that are going to improve us as a side? So that was West Ham are a totally different side in the second half from the first. First half didn't really. They had one shot I can remember where the keeper tipped on at the bar. Apart from that, nothing else. Second half, all of a sudden, Paquetá starts playing like he can. Kudos starts getting turned on and running at the Liverpool backline. They look much more of a threat. You could see them growing in confidence. They were looking at Liverpool thinking, you know what, they're easing off. They're sitting back a little bit. There's spaces for us to start playing and get at the Liverpool back line, and that's what they started to do. I mean, Alisson made 2 or 3 brilliant saves. Kept the scoreline as it was at that stage. Absolutely phenomenal. If they'd have got a goal a little bit earlier, their tails would have been up and they would have been right after Liverpool. As it was, I think when they went to 1-1, they were like, oh, that's not a bad result for us. We might get another goal on the counter-attack because Liverpool weren't really closing them down. So the game really changed it was a game of two halves in many respects. I thought Liverpool, dominated the first without really looking like they were going to score a lot of goals. But the second half, West Ham certainly come into a lot more.
As a former player, David, how do you explain the sort of difference in the two halves? Because so dominant first half, although we weren't peppering West Ham's goal with chances, we were challenging the goalkeeper, we hit the woodwork, we were so in control of the game, we got in front, and then for second half, that level not to have been there until the closing stages. How do you, as an ex-player, sort of talk us through that and explain it to the guys like me who've not been out there in the middle?
Yeah, I saw it slightly different. I thought both halves were really similar. They were just West Ham were a little bit better in the second half than they were in the first. That was it. But I thought we were just trying to do enough all the time, and it almost backfired us. I remember times when I've gone to Old Trafford when they've been chasing the title, and there's tempo, there's energy, there's a winning mentality. When the ball goes out of play, they're running to get it. They don't just want to beat you 1-0. They want to beat you 2 and 3 and make it easy for them for the last 20 minutes. We were hanging on for the last 20 minutes, waiting, trying to waste time, taking 10 minutes to go and take a corner, a free kick, rolling round. It's effective. Obviously, you want to get over the line. It's like Ray said, the start of the game. 3 points is the main thing, but it almost backfired on us. What we want to do is want to put these games to bed, and make the substitutions with 20 to go and be in a comfortable position, because West Ham were there for the taking. They were a dreadful side.
Continuing in that vein, so to all of a sudden be more dynamic or to try and be more aggressive, and it maybe is counterintuitive to the players.
There's one word you've got to use now you didn't have to use weeks ago, and that's pressure. The pressure's there to win the league. That's what the pressure's on the Liverpool players now. Before, you were only getting yourself into a good position to try and win it, whereas now, because of the points gap between themselves and Arsenal, the pressure's now on for you to get over the line, to go and win it. Not to lose it. If you lose it from here, everyone would be saying, what a collapse from Liverpool Football Club. So the players understand that, they feel it, they can sense it. I thought the fans got a bit edgy, they got a bit nervous during the second half as well, because they didn't quite see the intensity from the Liverpool players. They seen them making a few mistakes, they seen West Ham getting back into it, and as I said about Paquetá was getting up, he was threading little balls through. He wasn't doing that in the first half. So why was the big change in the second? Is because we didn't get on top of them. We allowed their midfielders to get more space, to get more time in possession the ball, to get runners, which they weren't doing in the first half because our back line was in a good shape. But all of a sudden they were getting in the areas where they could affect the game. Kudos was getting on and getting turned. He didn't do that in the first half. So why was the difference between the first and the second? Because we were dropping off, we weren't on top of them, we weren't imposing ourselves onto the West Ham players in that second half as much as we did in the first, because we controlled it in the first half, controlled the tempo, controlled the pace of the game.